Hello Matrix Live. Today is the 10th of January 2020. Can you believe it? 2020. I am here and I am sat in the office and I'm going to go and chat to some people. Behind me, you can see our many types of merch that we provide. Modelling some of it right now, but we finally got to the point where we're shipping and packing and ready to go. So let's go and see who wants to talk to us. Some are hiding. Some are hiding more dramatically than he planned. Wheelie chairs. Okay.
No, not yet. Give me the notes.
Oh, yeah.
Know what I'm actually going to say.
You're going to recognise this guy.
Okay, good.
So, what have you been working on? Who are you? What do you do here?
Mozilla, half shot, bridges.
So, you are half shot, you work on bridges, and this week you've been working on...
This is why I'm working on not bridges right now.
Right, okay, cool. What is this?
This is not for Riot. This is a modular.
Yeah, so this is modular. So you are working on Mozilla this week.
Yes.
And what does that really mean? What work is it entail?
It basically involves making modular work for Mozilla, as in they don't want to be in London.
Yep.
They like to be in the East Coast of the States.
Okay.
So what we've been working on is basically making modular work for multi-region, multi-places, all that kind of stuff, and also making it scale up so it can do 2,000 odd users or more if they want to do it. Federate, moderation tools, things like that.
Okay, but they're only going to have one home server.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, and they want it to be in a location that is not London.
Yeah, which traditionally is not something we've ever done.
Okay. So is that a lot of work to move it? I mean, it's just the same code on a different server.
Not for me. It's more work for the ops team.
Okay.
For me, it's configuration files.
Right. So you've been more overseeing and...
so more reliability and building things and making sure they stay built and they continue to be built.
Okay.
But Hawkeye is doing who's our ops engineer in the Australians.
Yeah, she's known.
She's been doing all the ops stuff for that, and I've just been doing the software side of it, as it were.
And what's the status? It's ready to go live? It's going to go live now?
Yeah, it's confidently... No. We're going live next week.
Next week?
It is live as my desktop. It's not live as in the rest of the world.
Okay,
it
runs,
will be live.
It runs on the screen that I'm looking at, but not the screen that you're
People at home will not be able to do this.
Right.
Oh, so another question is, when can everybody else get involved in this magic, in this multi-region stuff? Soon.
So this is a new modular feature?
This will be a modular feature. So all of our region work we do for Mozilla is going to be opened up to customers. So the idea is eventually people can go outside of London to other regions and I think eventually swap around as and when they want to.
Cool.
So you have true multi-region support.
Interesting.
This is probably weeks away at worst because all we really need now is a UI to polish it. So
is there demand for that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Not everyone wants to be in London. Surprisingly, recently there'll be reasons why you don't want to be in London.
Brexit's not helping anybody.
Yes.
But okay, cool. Well, it's great that that's happening.
Yeah.
And you think that next week you'll be able to have something to show for this, and Mozilla will be able to...
Definitely. I mean, Mozilla will be shouting about it, and it's because it's federating. You'll see Mozillians pop up and say hello. So
that's really awesome.
You'll know if it's working.
That's actually really reassuring for the project too. To have, like Mozilla Muxids dotted around. And what's this? What's this other thing on the list? Table tennis.
Table tennis. Oh yes, table tennis.
No, not table tennis.
No, it could be.
Okay, you really do have something table tennis related? This was a joke.
It doesn't work.
Okay.
I wrote a table tennis module. So the other thing is the presentation software, which is...
Yeah, let's talk about that. Cool. So can we see this?
Go.
Yeah, so this is fun.
Yes, this is basically presentations.
So this is a Matrix-powered presentation tool.
Yeah, so this is everything included. So you have slides as rooms, or rather slideshows as rooms, slides as events, and then sub-events also part of it. So you have fragmented slides.
Wow.
And the key power to this is it's synchronized. So multiple people can work on your slides, but also you can present and share your slides. But not only, you can also lock the presentation to one slide at a time and go through it.
How does editing work? I mean, how do people change if they want to change some text on a slide?
So it's Riot. So you just go into Riot and edit your event, and then it will update on the slide.
Wow.
The key problem we're missing is some of these events are custom, and right now you have to use the dev tools to edit those.
Yeah.
But I mean, adding UIs to this stuff is not hard. It's just making it render nicely.
I mean, that's something that the Riot team will do.
I'm sure they'll be really keen to pick up all my presentation crap into their project.
I think that they'd be proud to be.
Yes, absolutely. So this is ready to go. Well, you can start using it now. There's a URL that'll be in Twim later.
When will it be used first? When will it get its first out?
Whenever I do my next speaking engagement.
Yeah. Okay.
Might be FOSDEM.
Might be at FOSDEM.
Might be
All right,
at
let's find out. We'll see. If you're at FOSDEM, then you might see Hardview there.
Yes.
Cool. Who else have we got? Brendan, have you got 2 or 3 minutes to talk about Sydent?
Yes, I do.
2 to 3 minutes?
Yes.
So what have you been working on? What's going on?
So you know that most of our backend projects are running Python 2.
I do.
Running Python in general.
Mhm.
And so lately, in the past few years, there's been the deprecation of Python 2 in favor of Python 3, which is the new stable version.
Yep.
We've managed to enter
New-ish, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. Well, I mean, the new stable version.
Okay.
So we've managed to answer that call for most of our projects, except for Sydent, which is our reference identity server implementation. And I'm currently working into adding some support for Python 3 to that project.
Great.
So that admins can make the switch.
Okay.
For now, there will be some both Python 2 and Python 3 compatibility.
Okay.
But then at some point, probably in the future, we'll drop the Python 2 one.
Does that make it? Is that not make it more work? So, to run both at the same time.
Not really. Plus, we don't really want to force like the overhead of having to update your production environment at the same time as you update your production software onto Sydent admins.
No, I see. Okay, cool. All right. So, when are you expecting to see some results from this?
So that's that should land fairly soon, before the end of the month. That for sure.
Cool.
And yeah, that's.
And I guess the motivation to get it done now is the deadline was the start of the year.
Yeah, so we've missed the deadline because we've been kind of busy in the backend team.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But yeah, so Python 2 has officially died like 10 days ago.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're trying to.
But I mean, it didn't stop existing, right?
No, it's just that it's not going to get like critical security.
No.
It's not going to get new security patches for critical security issues. So that's not really ideal.
I wonder if there's a fortune to be made in supporting unupgradable Python 2 software that would just, it's difficult and crap work, but it would be really fun to do. No,
Not sure.
No, not sure about that
No.
one. All right, thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you very much. Who's next? I've got one here.
Hello.
Hey, what's going on? What's your name? What do you do? What have you been working on?
So many questions. So I'm Erik. So I'm a senior engineer back on the backend team.
Cool.
So I do mostly Synapse stuff, help out with ops stuff, and various faff around with things and stuff.
Cool. So it's been a big week for you. We've had 1.8.
We've had 1.8, which turns out to be quite a lot of stuff that's crept in over Christmas. I came back on Monday, did the change log, was like, oh, well, that's a lot of stuff.
Wow. Really? Okay, good.
Yeah, it was quite a large diff. But
Yeah,
there's a few exciting things in there. Otherwise, I've been mainly this week looking at UICs and investigating. UIC is when when you're using encryption in a room and sometimes someone sends you a message and Riot, for example, will just display, we don't have the keys for this message and
Right.
you don't see it.
Okay.
This is obviously a little bit suboptimal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Over UX wise, you mean?
Yeah, and just general, when you want to chat to someone, you can't read their messages. Probably not great.
Yeah, it depends who they are, but yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes we see this, and really we're trying to build out the tooling to extract where this happens, because it's all encrypted, so we can't actually see this on the server when this is going wrong.
So what does this mean in practice? More logging, tracing?
So it's kind of doing various things. It's trying to go through our backlog of issues to see if there's anything obvious, like in the logs or the errors that are exploding. There's also things like actually looking at the device messages that are going between the sending device, the sending client, and the receiving client.
Okay. Yeah.
Sometimes you can see some interesting patterns there. And for example, where this usually happens is because one client has a completely different view of what devices a user has.
Okay.
And that's where a lot of these issues come from. And so if you look at the traffic, you can see, well, this device doesn't seem to have heard about one of the new receiving users' devices and things like that.
Okay.
And just sniffing the traffic and seeing if everything looks roughly like
Yeah. Okay.
So it's sort of adding some heuristics and debugging there.
Sure. Wouldn't fixing that would just increase reliability generally? Because if there's inconsistencies, then
Yeah, well, basically at the moment we're just trying to find a way on the server side to see when this happens, because obviously everything looks fine on the server side. But then we're relying on users to say actually everything's not fine. We're trying to track that down.
Okay.
And this often you look at a raid shake and it's often like a couple of days old and our logs have gone and it's all a bit hellish. So trying to see when things happen and try to log everything at a time.
Is there anything that the public can be doing to help this work, or is it just getting raid shakes?
It's getting raid shakes. I mean, if you see it, please do scream loudly. We do actually care when this happens.
Sure.
And try and give as much detail, obviously, as possible.
Yep.
Usually this happens when you're talking across federation, but not all the time. And especially if it's not over federation, then we really, really want to know.
I mean, does it happen a lot non-federation?
It shouldn't do.
No, okay.
But
it shouldn't happen at all.
Well, exactly. So this is the thing: is it shouldn't happen at all.
Okay.
And as the more of these sort of old bugs that we hunt down and kill, then it becomes more and more important for people when they do see it to say, because even like a 0.1% failure rate is still far too high. So
for sure.
Don't just ignore them. Please do raid shake and shout loudly at us.
Got it.
We are trying to.
I must say, I have seen far less of this issue over the last 6 months or so. Has anything changed, or is it just reliability?
It's reliability and just we're getting used to it, and more people are using it, so we see the more bugs.
Interesting.
And there's been some sort of thinkers going along where like, oops.
Gotcha.
And then so we've done some bug fixing here and there.
Cool.
So it's just now tracking down the long tail of tiny little niggles.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it seems to have had improvements. All right, cool. Thank you. All right, I'm going to angle the camera so that I miss out the hundreds and hundreds of staff who don't want to be. This office is packed to the rafters. But I've got another one here.
Hello.
Hey, how are you doing? Who are you, and what are you working on?
I'm doing well. My name is Andrew, and I am a backend engineer on Synapse, and sometimes on Dendrite as well.
Cool. Dendrite's your preference, is it?
Well, I would like Dendrite to be a thing, but it's slowly getting there. Now that we actually have Neil Alexander on board,
Yes.
and soon some other people, it will get there a lot faster.
Cool. Why don't you give us a summary of what Neil Alexander's doing?
So Neil is trying to prepare a demo for FOSDEM for one of our talks that's been accepted to have peer-to-peer communication between home servers that are running on client devices. So the concept for peer-to-peer matrix is you have your home server, you put it on the same computer or phone or whatever as the client. Client just uses the same CS API to talk to the home server, and the home servers talk to each other over the local network or bridging over some sort of peer-to-peer.
And why is Dendrite preferable for that role?
Because Synapse expects a lot of resources, and Dendrite can run in many different environments, including service workers, so on the web, when you compile it to WASM. And it can run on Android quite easily, whereas running Python on Android is a total mess.
Oh, really? Okay, well, just the fact that it's Go is the facility there?
Yeah, and just from a compiled language, you get a lot of performance boost just out of the box. So it seems like the ideal target. Plus, like, not many features are there, so the resource requirement in general is lower.
I see. It simply does less.
Yes. So the main goal right now is to get Dendrite federating, which Neil seems to have accomplished in a basic way. And then after that, hack in some peer-to-peer libraries such that Dendrites can talk to each other without needing domain names or public IP addresses.
I mean, Neil's only been involved for a week or two, so that's not.
I know, he's making great progress.
That's not bad. All right, cool.
And I've been trying to get him up to speed.
So you've been doing a lot of back-end work in general, but I've written something here about better admin. What that mean?
Yeah, what that means. So Modular, of course, is one of our people who are building admin dashboards to use with Synapse, but other people are doing the same thing. To make those admin dashboards, you need admin APIs, which can list rooms on the servers, users on the server, change settings of a room, change setting from a user.
Okay.
We don't have a lot of those at the moment,
No.
so we are implementing them. So what I'm doing right now is making it so you can list rooms.
Yeah.
And
So how's that different from the room directory?
The room directory is only public rooms, but as a server admin, you want to see all the rooms on the server to make sure no one's doing anything wrong. So this will just list all the rooms.
Is this why is this not a special case of the CS API? Why is it so?
Because you might want to make a room that's private and not have any user see it.
Right.
Okay. So this is a special admin API.
Right.
Essentially, only admins can access it. And the other one is quarantining media, because people can just upload a bunch of media, and you want to make sure you can take it down really easily.
Yeah, media is its own category of admin difficulty.
Yes, indeed.
All right. Thank you, Andrew.
Thanks, guys.
Any more? So we're going to get 2 for 1 here. This is the Riot team, or at least the Riot team as they are in the office. How can we angle this camera? Can we sit that way? You can move. We're all on wheelie chairs, so we can so we can move a little bit. There we go. Cool. So Riot is currently spending a lot of time working on cross-signing, which is going to be very good for a lot of people. Ryan and Dave, what have you been doing to help that?
I guess I'll start. Well, lots of things have been going on with cross-signing lately, but I guess most recently I've been working on sort of a flow just after login so that you're prompted to verify across different devices and kind of add the trust that's kind of a main component of the whole cross-signing.
So when you say trust, you mean like user trust in the process for the user?
Right. Amongst your own devices as a user, marking sort of a new session when you log in as trusted, so that other people who have trusted you as a user will automatically see that as a trusted session without those people having to do anything.
Okay, so this is sort of like self-cross-signing.
Yeah, right. Signing your own devices. Right. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So the whole goal of cross-signing is to make things a lot simpler so that you don't have to have the problem where everyone has to trust everyone's separate devices. Mm-hmm. Instead, you can just trust a user once, and then they manage all of their devices on their own.
Yeah, gotcha. So you've got to have done your own first.
Yep.
And so, as I understand it, you guys were blocked for a little while because the backend had to come first. But now that that's not done.
Sort of. I think the largest part was maybe on the spec side, just kind of figure out all the protocols and how all of this should work, because there's lots of encryption schemes. And, uploading signatures and how many keys do you want and all of these kinds of things.
I don't know. How many keys do I want?
There's always one more. It seems like.
Okay, so
that's what we've learned.
More than
you
thought.
can always add more than one. Add another one.
Okay. What about Dave? What have you been? What's your day-to-day been?
This week it's been a lot of firstly figuring out how we are actually going to write cross-signing and what we need to do to get us from where we are to where we want to be, and then run around behind the scenes while Ryan's doing the sort of introduction screen. I'm trying to look at how it works at the moment and do the boring behind this under the hood things to get the right things into the right state so that they're signed at the right times.
I see. So in terms of projects, is this where does this happen? Because Riot is split into 3 quite well-defined projects. Is this in the JS SDK or in Riot itself?
This is mostly now in Riot itself, although there's still quite a lot of work being done on the JS SDK. Normally the JS SDK parts are all written and have been written for a little while, but that was all very much theoretical implementation because it was only sort of proof of concept using them. So
when can we use it? When will it be ready? What's the ETA?
That's a very good question.
Yeah.
We are hoping to get it in a state where everybody will be able to use it by FOSDEM, or at least shortly after.
Right. Is FOSDEM a soft deadline?
Softish.
Okay, so it's quite a real deadline. Okay. Okay. All right, cool. Well, then I'll look forward to that in about 3 weeks. All right. Thank you, Riot team. What else we got? There must be something else. Hey, what about this guy? Recognize him? What have you been doing lately?
Hello, Ben. Hello, Matrix Live. Welcome to my desk.
Yeah, I'm not going to pan down because there's an amount of
calling me a hoarder.
There's an amount of material going on this desk.
What am I doing? I have been talking lots. I've been trying to be a responsible adult and trying to keep Matrix funded and new Vector alive, interviewing lots of people. What else? Should probably prepared something. I've been playing with Neil Alexander and the peer-to-peer stuff. That's kind of fun.
You've been playing with the stuff that he's been playing with.
Well, I've been playing with my half of it. So he's been doing the Dendrite bit, which I think Anoa just explained.
Yes.
I've been doing the peer-to-peer bit of it more, which is basically trying to package it up to run in a web service worker as WASM. And Dendrite itself compiles to WASM really easily, but there are 2 big dependencies that you're missing. The ability to actually do HTTP, serve HTTP requests from Dendrite, or from the Go WASM layer, and separately the ability to persist stuff, because you don't get any storage from the WASM interface. You basically, if you want to talk to the network, you have to talk out to JavaScript. If you want to store stuff, again, you basically have to talk out to JavaScript. So I've gone and written 2 libraries. One is called Go HTTP libp2p JS. Did I get that right? I got it wrong. It's go-http-js-libp2p. So what it's doing is taking HTTP and Go, passing it over into JavaScript, and then bundling it into libp2p from IPFS, which then allows you to do HTTP from Go over libp2p from JavaScript. So if you imagine, if you will, some kind of trapezium going from a WASM, basically you're going to have Riot talking to a service worker where the server actually runs. The server is Dendrite, so it's going to pass the HTTP request over from plain HTTP locally from JavaScript to WASM. It services it in WASM. It then needs to federate out over peer-to-peer, so it hands it back via HTTP via this library to JS. JS then goes and wraps that up in libp2p using WebRTC or WebSockets to then discover other nearby peer-to-peer matrix servers, which could be both native or it could be in browser. It then makes a connection over libp2p directly to that, which then goes back from JavaScript into WASM, where it is served via Dendrite's HTTP serving code. Obvious, easy, right? And so that's the first library. The second library is called Go SQLite-JS, which is a SQL driver for Go, which is implemented in JavaScript using SQL.js, which ironically is SQLite compiled down to WASM. So basically, you're in WASM in Go, you want to save some data, what do? You install the Go SQLite.js driver. It goes and you do something like, insert into table there. It talks through to JavaScript, which goes and instantiates the right SQLite database in JavaScript, which in practice fires up another WASM instance, which then allows you to store your stuff there. And you can also do some silliness in the JavaScript to vaguely persist this into IndexedDB or local storage. But in practice, we're just using it as an in-memory storage system. So there you go. That was the level of detail you were hoping for, right?
It was approximate, yeah. No, I mean, to the extent that I followed it, it seems like WASM is a great target. It just seems like a lot of people are getting into it lately. Is it just that it's JavaScript and it's there, or is there something more?
Well, I mean, it's not JavaScript. It's a fun thing. It's a whole new virtual machine, and it works pretty well. It learns a little bit. Well, it learns quite well from some of the predecessors. It's pretty efficient. When we switched on from actual JavaScript and sm.js to WASM, I think it sped things up about 3 times. So it's pretty concrete improvement. The reason we're targeting it here is because if we're doing a demo where we run server in browser, which is obviously the thing that we're trying to play around with here, which, by the way, is mainly just a silly demo. I mean, it's basically a gimmick to show that it can work, and there's nothing more fun than just, hey, go to the website, and hey, presto, you've got the whole thing running there. That's basically what we're experimenting with, but in practice, you probably wouldn't want to do it in reality. You're going to want to run the client-side server on your phone as native code without any WASM inside. Right. So it's cool, it allows you to do silly stuff like this. It's probably not actually going to change the world. Okay.
Well, I mean, P2P. It's always nice to have an R&D aspect, and P2P is definitely another way of distributing metrics. So I think it's silly, but it's also a possibly feasible thing to do.
Yeah, indeed. Well, I mean, it's meant to be a fun demo, if nothing else, and I think the libraries could be useful for other people too. There's nothing matrix specific. It's generally, hey, you want to put a web server in Go in your browser, here's a way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, surprisingly, there was no demand for that until this month. So it's not like...
Well, I don't know. I think it's just one of the things where is somebody stupid enough to go and build these libraries to make it happen, and nobody was until started doing it. I need to issue a quick correction to Halfshot's one at the beginning, which is that the Mozilla Go Live is not in any way confirmed, and it may well not happen next week, and you didn't hear anything from him leaking about the schedule for that, which is not agreed or public. So.
Oh, I can... okay. Okay.
You can keep it in, but just please keep it.
Didn't know that was not public. Okay. Yeah, it was a forced confession. Live updates. Okay, last but not least at all is Neil. This is not the previously mentioned Neil Alexander. This is Neil Classic.
Neil Legacy.
Neil Legacy. Neil, engineering manager. What have you been doing recently?
Look, this week I've just had firmly had my new vector hat on. But I've got some things that I think will be interesting, a little bit interesting to the broader community, because we're trying to grow the team a little bit, following our funding announcements earlier or towards the end of last year. And so we're trying to get lots of great engineers to help build out the project.
Yeah.
And that means at all levels of the stack, web developers, ops people, back-end people. Some have already joined. And
you've had some success, right? I mean, you've had people join, people are on the brink of joining.
Yeah, absolutely. It's why we're so busy. It's why I'm sat in this seat. This isn't my normal seat. I had to give my seat up so that Ben could sit next to Michael and sort of mind.
Oh, so this is another new person, a new ops person. Yeah.
That's right. I'm going to be doing that for a little bit more. We're just keeping going on that. The role that I'm really struggling with right now is a French-speaking systems administrator. So if that's you, get in touch and we'll have a chat. So that's proving to be quite a tough one to fill.
Yeah. That needs to be based in France.
It doesn't actually. It can be remote.
Okay.
We're a remote company generally, but yeah, that role particularly. But otherwise, you can take a look at our corporate site, vector.im. There's a bunch of roles up there, so do take a look.
Cool. Thank you very much. All right, and I'm not going to pan back because there's a mixture of people who do and don't want to be on camera. But Matrix Live, thank you. Hopefully it's clear how busy we are and we're all running around trying to get everything done. See you soon. Bye.